So we are reading from Bhagwad Gita, chapter 6, text number 17. There were two things which will help a devotee to a person to perform yoga. What did we learn in 6.16? Nati ashnatastu yogosti, na chaikantam anashnatah, na chati swapnashilasya jagrato neva charjuna. Na ati ashnatah, a person who eats too much, he cannot be a yogi. Na chaikantam anashnatah, a person who overly fast, he cannot be yogi also. Na chati swapnashilasya, a person who does not sleep, or if he sleeps too much. So in both, no, na iti, then this should not be done. But what should be done will be explained in today's sloka. This is the way many times we hear the instructions, and actually all the time we hear the instructions in Vedas as if they are being prescribed like a prescription of a medical practitioner. You do this and you don't do this. Yam and niyam. So what are the things which are supposed to be done? We're going to learn today. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text number 17. Yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu yuktasvapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtasya karmasu स्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः
युक्त स्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः.
क्या हो गया? The word yukta has been translated as regulated, measured, not uncontrolled. That way, okay? Let us read the meanings. Yukta is very clear, regulated. Ahar, eating. Vihar, recreation. This means recreation which is not unfavorable for your self-realization. Not that we start watching movies in a regulated manner. Okay, half an hour I'll watch movies and not more than that. Here it's told by Acharyas elsewhere that for a devotee means traveling. Traveling means, walking. Walking is a vihar kind of thing. Or it can also mean joking with devotees. It's not that we're all the time saying chant Hare Krishna, which is there, but we sometimes joke with devotees. But if we do too much, it's like too much frivolous talk. We can sometimes talk in a leisurely manner like that. But first of all, it still has to be Krishna conscious. And if it is just, if you become too frivolous, in a japa also, if you're talking too much, then all those things will not help us, our devotional practice. Does it make sense to you? We joke and do all those things. After Bhagavatam class also, it's not that all the time you may talk about Bhagavatam. You may still talk in some light vein with devotees. You can joke with them or something. But you know that if we do too much, then we become distracted from the path of yoga. Are you able to follow? So, and obviously no recreation which has to do with sense gratification. That is not regulated recreation. Yukta chestasya, regulated of one who works for maintenance. That means even for the bodily maintenance, we cannot just work for 14 hours just to maintain the body. Karmasu, in discharging duties. Yukta swapnava bodhasya, regulated sleep and wakefulness. Okay, we have discussed that earlier. 6-7 hours of sleep is sufficient. Yoga bhavati dukkha, practice of yoga becomes diminishing in pains. That means it diminishes pains. Now before we, let me first read the translation. I'll tell you a very secret here. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. First thing which which all of us can see by regulation is eating. Let us see eating. Very, not only eating, just anything of these works, activities. I am feeling sleepy and I don't sleep. Will that be misery? Got it? I am feeling hungry and I don't eat. Will that be misery? And you agree that this will lead to further bodily pains? Yes. At least at this simple, this has been explained by Pankaj Angir Prabhu. Very simple. Is it not very profound? If I am hungry and I don't eat, I will suffer. You know that we get ulcers and all those things. Now it doesn't mean that you say, Prabhuji, I feel hungry at 4 a.m. Certain things you have to tolerate. I mean, unless they have a very acid or something, hyperacidity or something like that. Certain things you have to tolerate. But most of devotees must be feeling that till 9 o'clock you don't feel any uncomfortable. I am still saying if your health needs, you will have to eat. You may be a diabetic person, that's a different thing. I'm not talking about those people. But in general, most devotees don't feel any discomfort till 9 a.m. Do you feel discomfort now? And 9 a.m. you begin to feel hunger also. Or let's say 8 a.m., 8:30, whatever. So then, at that time, you take prasadam. But you know that if when we eat up till this point, then it becomes very difficult to work. Even our digestion goes wrong. Sometimes we get food poisoning. Is it not? And then we cry, nobody is looking. What happens? It's like that. Those nice idlis, they explode in the stomach. It happens. So, आपके संग कभी ऐसा हुआ? Must have happened. The mind will say nothing will happen. Eat one more idli. Not every time, but many times it happens. Nothing will happen. More achar, this and anything. And then we suffer. So this is, first of all, see from this physical level. And the point is, from other point is, when we are regulated, mode of goodness increases. So our real suffering actually is from mode of ignorance and passion. Do you agree? Yes. Just keeps us constantly unsettled. You must have had those days. You are just peaceful. You just don't want anything. Just imagine if you are all throughout our life in that consciousness. I can get 2 times prasadam, I can chant Hare Krishna and hear about Krishna, do some service, and I am fully satisfied. So root cause of our miseries is not physical miseries. Please try to understand. The root cause of our miseries is this passion and ignorance, this lust and all those things, this unsettledness, which pushes us to do things which are many times not useful for us also. Are you able to follow this? So by regularly doing these things, we can, and by obviously performing yoga, we become free from pain. Basically, pain comes from sense gratification. In our life, as long as there is sense gratification, there is pain. Why? Can you give a quote from Bhagwad Gita? Yeah, वही श्लोक वही yes, ये ही संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुख यो नय एवते आद्यंतवंत कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. Those happiness, so-called happiness, which is born from sense perception, is the only source of our misery. And I have told this also when I was explaining to one devotee. Some material desire appeared in the heart of the devotee, and then I had no objection. It's okay, it can come. And then I asked that devotee, how did you feel when that material desire came? And answer is simple: burning. Is it not? Burning. And I said, okay, you chant many rounds on Ekadashi. How? And said, yes. Now I feel very peaceful. We have material needs. Please hear carefully. Material needs are different from material desires. Got it? Getting? We have a body, you have to take rest, you have to sleep, all those things. Needs are there. Material needs are different from material desires. This is a very subtle point. Material needs are not material desires. We don't have to desire to become a great man, but we need to eat. Lord Krishna says that. Is Lord Krishna saying that you don't eat or sleep? So obviously when you're sleeping, you cannot do yoga, is it not? But if you take a rest, then you can chant properly. Clear? Okay. This is a very nice shloka for us. Directly applicable. Yukta ahara viharasya, for one whose eating and recreation is regulated. Recreation, you understand? I mean, I don't know what. I cannot understand. Everything is a recreation in Krishna consciousness. What is not recreation? I don't understand. I don't know in what context recreation is used. But definitely not a movie. And not a football play. Karmasu yukta chestasya, whose engagement in work is regulated. Please hear this. Devotees who are working also. Don't make, obviously, hopefully not, don't make your work or job as a goal of life. It's just an engagement. It has to be in a regulated way. One should not become, go frenzy over it, that's the word. Or say, go gaga over it. This is my job. And a devotee should not do. And you know what happens? You devotees are hearing. That's why it is not happening. And if you don't hear, then you understand. You'll become completely bewildered. I have to become a big man. And whole life gets lost like this. I'm talking about devotees, not about non-devotees. That's why I become actually a little afraid when devotees stop coming to the evening classes and they hear. Then the whole thing just overpowers you. Then this is forgotten. Karmasu yukta chistasya. It doesn't work like that. That I am not working just to work like a, fill in the blanks. Donkey? Yeah, you said that. I have not been. I'm not here to become a donkey. ये नहीं click करता है. Unless we hear, we forget that we are Atma. We are Atma. We are not the body for which we have to work for 14 hours or 12 hours or 9 or whatever. It's just to maintain the body. To maintain your bike, you don't work 10 hours. Is it? Do you work? Yukta swapna avabodhasya. Swapna is very clear. Swapna means sleeping. Swapna does not mean sleeping. Swapna indicates sleeping. Swapna means dream. And dream we get when we sleep. Avabodhasya. Avabodha means waking, wakefulness. When you are aware what is happening around you is called avabodha. Bodha ho raha hai. Are you able to understand this thing? This is called bodha. Avabodha means waking state. That means it's not that now I'll remain awake till 12 a.m. and then wake up at 3 a.m. and then think I have a very good chanting. It doesn't work like that. At least in a long run, it won't work. One devotee told me, he's not here it seems, Prabhuji, 8 hours I have to study. Very good. What you can do? You have to study. And only night time I can study Bhagavatam. See how they want to draw blessings from the teacher. So Prabhuji, how can I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning? Such an innocent devotee. Daytime not working, also not studying. And night time, how can I give a Bhagavatam study? Then I say, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 tatha kuru. What you can say? But you cannot, even sometimes I used to make that mistake. I'm trying to avoid that. Don't replace Brahma Muhurt hours with anything. As far quite possible, I also like to study in the night time. I'm trying to avoid that. Don't replace Brahma Muhurt hours with anything. 1 hour of Brahma Muhurt is 5 hours during the day. Are you not experiencing? One devotee, our ashram devotee today told me, for today's feast he sacrificed his 16 rounds. My eyes became round. He was starting his chanting at, when I went to, was like 12:30 in the afternoon. I said, switch off your phone, deposit your phone with me and you chant. See, this happens when we don't hear. He doesn't hear anything. I'm very much concerned about him. This is not yukta hara viharasya. Gone, finished. And now he's at any house. Hopefully he's understanding. Can you imagine that? हम उनको बोलते खिचड़ी खाओ भाई, हमें मतलब नहीं. You feed खिचड़ी 10 items 1.0 मुझे खिचड़ी. First you chant your rounds. कितना भय होता है, we are so fearful. So hearing is a very, very important point. So I'm just telling you, It doesn't work like that. Just I've seen a devotee. One devotee who is a servant of sadhus. He was preaching to a Mayavadis till 2 a.m. in the morning. This is called Yukta Avabodhasya, regulated wakefulness. Is it not, my dear devotee? And then the whole family did not come for morning program. I said, what happened? Papa was preaching to Mayavadi. We could not sleep. And I said, this is not the way we preach. So now Papa is making an innocent face. I have not done anything. But this has happened, my dear devotee. I am everyone's Papa. I can see who's coming and not coming. This is difficult for most of us because we want to do things independently. So do it, you'll be happy. Dukkha yoga bhavati. There is yoga which is destroyer of all miseries. Very simple. By sense gratification we become unhappy. Clear? And by engaging our senses in Krishna's service we become happy. So if you are regulated, then sense gratification is to the minimum you can speak, and then yoga happens and you become happy. Finished? Clear? Nahi? Chalo. Next. Gita Bhushan commentary. For one with regulated eating and recreation, with controlled actions of the sense organs, such as speaking, related to spiritual and mundane duties, with regulated sleeping and waking, yoga destroys all suffering. Therefore, the yogi will conduct himself in that way. Please try to understand. See, we are not the bodies. Okay? It's applicable for anyone. Grahastha, Brahmachari, anyone. So be very conscious in sparing your time to discuss mundane material subject matters. Because ultimately they are simply a waste of time. Whether we are in Grahastha life or in any life. You will still appreciate it better. Have you experienced that when we let our mind loose, then the tongue becomes more loose? Are my dear devotees experiencing that? We just keep on speaking blah 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 and without even reflecting, is it of any value? Have you experienced a state of contemplation? Very contemplative, reflective. That is very different when we just, it normally happens when we take prasadam together, which we should take. But we don't, we don't reflect, I am talking this, is this helping other devotee to think of Krishna? Are you able to relate what I am trying to speak? We just talk and then we say, yeah, we just wasted our time, is it not? We did not come together and talked about Krishna. So this is what being mentioned here, that remembering that our goal of life is very clear, remembering that I am investing this time, what it is going to bring in returns for me. It's not that I am perfect, I am telling you my own mistakes. Many times I have discussed, and when discussed something with people, which now I remember, I said, why I wasted my time with that guys? But discussion. And hear that any discussion goes deeper into your heart. Have you ever done like that? Oh, they have not done, they don't understand anything. No. Oh, they don't know anything. Then how will I make you understand? Everyone does it. Very conscious. Achha, one more reflection. Have you ever noticed that you have discussed certain things with some people and then suddenly it comes to your mind in their japa? Wow, from where have this come? See? So be very careful on this point. Very careful. Are you able to understand? Yes, you can joke with devotees and take prasadam. Everything is fine. Like you can take one more jalebi and all those things there. But if you go a little bit in that direction extra, then it will be difficult for us. Even eating too much prasadam is also not good. I mean, for new devotees, fine, but I am very much afraid tomorrow I have to go to Raghupati Prabhu's place and we'll have very nice prasadam. How will I be able to follow what I am teaching? I am very much afraid. It's very great difficulty. Krishna always tests us. extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending and mating, which are demands of the body, can block advancement in the practice of yoga. You got this point? As far as eating is concerned, it can be regular. Hold on. Very interesting point. And Bhagavatam Prabhupada says a person who is pure in his eating, mating, sleeping and defending, he can have a pure mind. And with a pure mind, you can have absorption in Srimad Bhagavatam, and same thing, absorption in the holy name. Beautiful point. And in this context, His Grace Radhesham Prabhu was mentioning very nicely, we may not have a pure mind, at least we can have pure actions. And then ultimately it will lead to pure mind also. Beautiful point, right? As far as eating is concerned, it can be regulated only when one is practiced to take and accept prasadam, sanctified food, and is extremely purifying. In case devotees don't know, one morsel of prasadam is equals to 1 month's fasting result, and crores of yajnas punya is there in that. Don't underestimate it. Still, we take prasadam to keep the body together and obviously to spiritually nourish us, but not take so much that we have no capacity to do anything except to digest it. समझ में आया? इतना खा लेते हैं कि बस अब उसको डाइजेस्ट ही करने पूरा दिन लगे अजगर की तरह. Yeah, it's reminding me of a story of a devotee who ate so much prasadam halwa, he had to be operated so that halwa can be taken out from his stomach. Not that way. And it happened 2 times. That was such a pain, you know. Not that much. Interesting comment by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this regard. He says that other senses, if you don't give them their food, they will become pacified. But if you don't give food to tongue, it becomes more voracious. So, the solution is we give prasadam, but in regulated way. But my dear devotees, don't cut your food into half or 1/4. All those things are also not mentioned. Do whatever is comfortable for your body, whatever you can digest. Lord Krishna is offered according to the Bhagavad Gita, vegetables, flowers, fruits, grains, milk, etc. In this way, a person in Krishna consciousness becomes automatically trained not to accept food not meant for human consumption or not in the category of goodness. As far as sleeping is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharge of his duties in Krishna consciousness, and therefore any unnecessary time spent sleeping is considered a great loss. 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎. You are getting it? We have to sleep, I have to sleep, but fact is sleeping is a pure waste of time. What do you think? It has benefits. It feeds our intelligence and all those things, and we have to sleep. What you can do about it? And don't try to reduce it artificially also. Then you will just very difficult. You will make very great difficulty. Mind calm nahi karega. Your intelligence will not work, and very difficult. As we grow in love of God, automatically these bodily necessities become lesser and lesser. People have tried and they have actually failed. So don't do in that way. As we advance in bhakti, naturally they become reduced. So 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎. But this is a very interesting point. When we sleep, we can't do anything for Krishna. But since the body is there, we have to take rest. What does 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 means? 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 means the quality of not wasting a moment also without engaging in Krishna's service. A Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Now, can you answer why it happens and how it happens? You must have heard this. But why? He has so much love. Very good. And यही तो बात क्लियर करिए. He has so much love for the Lord. Yes, the answer has been given. Taste. There is so much taste. You don't want to lose that taste. If you don't understand this, you must have heard there are boys who have died by not even passing water, not going to washroom, not drinking because of playing whatever video games. I don't want to take the name, it will be an advertisement, but we have heard that there are boys. This is very amazing. People go mad for just games. So now there must be some taste in that, is it not? So people can, but obviously in bhakti you don't die. But this is how it is. There is so much, this is such a wonderful taste, just like 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐴 Goswami ji and Parikshit Maharaj were not sleeping, neither drinking also, not eating, like that. Basically the spiritual energy is inspiring them in that way. Therefore, interesting in this regard, Srila Prabhupada was asked by, who was that singer who was playing? George Harrison. Prabhupada, I feel I am wasting so much of my time in sleeping because I have to do so much things for Krishna. And Prabhupada said, me too. I have to do so many things. And you know how Prabhupada also was sleeping hardly 2 hours, maximum 2 hours, or max 3 hours, like that. Don't try at home, you will go crazy. So don't do that. Sleep sufficiently. Therefore, his sleeping is kept to a minimum. Okay. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna, who could not sleep more than 2 hours a day, and sometimes not even that. Haridas Thakur would not even accept prasadam, nor even sleep for a moment without finishing his daily routine of chanting with his beads 300,000 names. Now, very nicely one devotee asked, you have a scooter, is it? Ramakrishna Prabhu, speak in the mic. I'll just do an experiment with you. Which day you last time filled your scooter?
Today only.
Today only. Then you have not answered it properly. Normally, if we look at the indicator,
yes, it was blinking.
It was blinking. That means, okay, when was the last time you filled the scooter?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. This is the ideal we have to reach. Last time pucha, when was the last time when you ate? Morning, obviously, or afternoon, is it not? Got it? My dear Zoom devotees, they are not able to. Are you able to follow the joke or the point? Just we are so detached with the scooter. All of us are like, who cares when we have filled the scooter or not? When it is blinking, ding, 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 then acha. Similarly, so the Goswamis were not making a record. They were so absorbed in chanting and hearing and remembering Krishna. Last time kab khaya aapne? When was the last time you ate? Maybe 3 days. Maybe 3 days have passed. And that's unimaginable. But that's what Prabhupada says. Why 16? Why not 16,000? I mean, just become excited when we become perfect. What kind of happiness that is. Ayendra Prabhu would not eat all throughout the day. He will eat at 12 o'clock in the night. And you just sleep for 2.5 or max 3 hours. So there are examples of such kind of devotees who had, even in the recent times. So very advanced devotee would not sleep. Prabhupada was sleeping only 2 hours, 3 hours. It's not just how you are able to understand. It's just not to make a record. It's just they can't do that. Also another angle is that for very less sleep, they can actually recharge themselves. This is also a fact. Is there like that? Please don't try it at home. It's not possible for us. As far as work is concerned, a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not connected with Krishna's interest, and thus his work is always regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. Since there is no question of sense gratification, there is no material leisure for a person in Krishna consciousness. This has to be understood. First you understood? Now, it may not be immediately applicable for most people, but at least we should understand the principle. If it is nothing to do with Krishna, why should I meet anyone? Is it not? If you become sadhus, many people just want to come to take darshan, but they don't want to take darshan. They don't want to take any philosophy or hear anything. They just want to meet you so that you can get blessings and they can become materially happy. And you will see how disinclined we become to such kind of darshans, quote unquote, where people have nothing to, no spiritual question, nothing, no inclination for bhajan also. They want to ask you also that we want to do bhajan, how should we do bhajan? Are you able to follow that? So what is the point of meeting such people? And I'm just giving one example, and there are so many examples. Prabhuji, please come to the wedding of my marriage, of my sister or whatever, daughter, and what do brahmacharis have to do with their daughter's marriage or whatever? What did he has to do? क्या मतलब बताइए? नियम से भी ब्रह्मचारी को तो जाना नहीं चाहिए. कोई संबंध ही नहीं होता. You can, maybe you are not able to relate. I can see in my own life. Many times we get these invitations. What is the point? I said, you will feel uncomfortable, we will feel uncomfortable. Like that. If there is some relationship, that's okay. But if there is no relationship only, what is the point? And even you don't even know a person. But openly, bolte, this is strange. Anyways. Also, people have, you cannot imagine any kind of material affair in which a devotee, you will see that you will become completely uninterested. Why have to be there? Why there is no, Krishna is not there, why should we connect to such kind of things? That will lead to misery only. I asked this question from His Holiness Radharamana Maharaj. Very interesting and very funny. I said, Maharaj, what does this mean? Fifth canto was going on, that Rishabdev was not trusting his mind. What does it mean? He was Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he said, you see, what happens is that sometimes somebody is inviting you in Delhi. It never happened to me, but maybe normally, that you please come to our daughter's wedding. And it is quite possible that that person may have some ladies dancing in the wedding. It's obviously there. And you may say, Abhay, hum to brahmachari hain. I've been a brahmachari since 20 years, 30 years, nothing will happen. But that one glance can go deep into the heart. So that's what Lord is saying. Because he is not connected with anything which is not in interest of Krishna, and that's why his work is always regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. You know the meaning of taint? Colored? Now you got the point? Colored by sense gratification. Another angle to it. Every time we do sense gratification, there is a taint in our consciousness. And we will see that in japa. Now it is not work, my dear devotees. Work means karmendriyas. When we talk, you cannot imagine when we talk. And sometimes, I tell you, sometimes we want to enjoy the talk and we talk. And then we realize it was not for Krishna. I wanted to enjoy that talk, and that's why I talked. I don't know whether you can relate with it or not, but I have made that mistakes. I'm telling you openly, I have made that mistakes. And later on, no, I should have not talked this like this. I wanted to enjoy that talk. It has nothing to do with Krishna. I lamented because of that. It's just a waste of time. Waste of time, and it tainted my heart with sense gratification. So be very careful in that. It's not that when I'm teaching all this I am perfect. I'm just telling this is very subtle. It's not only working with hands or legs, especially with speaking. Speaking is a working sense. Be very careful in that. Since there is no question of sense gratification, there is no material leisure for a person in Krishna consciousness. What does that mean? See, when we gratify our senses, we want to stop also. We want to stop also. Do you agree? We do bhoga and then we stop it. Bhog tyag, bhog tyag, bhog tyag. You understand this point. But when you are serving Krishna, we are always actually happy because we are getting sparsha, Brahma sparsha. We become touched by Krishna. So the form of seva will change, but the mode of seva will not change. The service attitude will remain. Is it not? Like I'm going to stop now after few minutes and then chant japa. I can chant japa, then I go to take a rest, then I can read something and go to take a rest, then wake up and take a bath and go for Mangalarti. Where is stoppage? At least I'm talking about brahmachari life, and it can be for most devotees can practice this kind of life where we are always doing some or other service for Krishna. Are you able to follow? Chutti nahi hai bhakti mein. There is no need for any chutti. There is no need for any break is the word, yes. Because any activity will make you happy only, is it not? And because he is regulated in all his work, speech, sleep, wakefulness and all other bodily activities, there is no material misery for him. It's very easy. Material misery will come by sense gratification. So senses are engaged Krishna's service constantly. How will we become unhappy? I think the sloka is very clear. By constantly engaging Krishna's service in various ways, in a regulated way also, a person is free from material miseries. On one level, physical level, and also because there is no scope for sense gratification, he will also, there is no source for material miseries. Okay, so we'll stop here. Any questions in this regard? No. So, okay. So try to apply this. Sleep in time, wake up in time, and okay. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagwad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all for joining.